Class 7 English Chapter 2 Uruka Adventure. URUKA Adventure. Lesson 2. Activities. Q1. Let's see how much you have understood the story. Answer the questions. A. Who was the leader of the boys in their adventure on Uruka night? Ans. Mahan was the leader of the boys in their adventure on Uruka night. B. What were the names of Mahen's friends? Ans, Sanju, Nantu, Rinku and Rumon were Mahen's friends. C. What did they propose to Mahan on Uruka night? Ans, they proposed that Mahan should lead them in an Uruka night. D. What was the age-old custom that Mahan was referring to? Ans, spending the Uruka night in the Belaha, feasting house, and picking vegetables when everyone is asleep is the age-old custom that Mahan refers to.
E. What was Mahin's reaction to their proposal? Ansh, Mahin jumped up excitedly and looked at his friends with an air of authority. F. What did the boys do after the feast? Ansh, when everyone left, the boys stayed behind huddling around the big fire. At midnight they walked quietly to Shantiram's house to steal vegetables from his field. G. Who was Shantiram? Ansh, Shantiram was a retired army man and farming is his hobby. His garden was full of cabbage, brinjals, carrots and other seasonal vegetables. H. Why was Shantiram sitting wrapped in a black blanket? Where was Shantiram sitting? Ansh. It was Uruka night and Shantiram was aware of Uruka night adventures. He guessed that something might have happened that night. He wore a black heap and sat in the middle of his garden. I. What was the black heap of garbage that Mahin noticed? Ansh. The black heap of garbage that Mahin noticed was Shantiram who was sitting in his garden. J. What made the night appear more haunting? Ansh. It was midnight and it was very silent on a cold January night. The nightjar, a small species of owl, was screeching eerily at regular intervals. It made the atmosphere all the more haunting. K. Why did the boys run away from the garden? Ansh. The boys saw a black heap of garbage right in the middle of the rows of vegetables which soon came alive and dashed towards them speedily. In fear the boys ran away from the garden. L. What happened when the boys were about to pick the vegetables? Ansh. The boys stretched their hands to pick the vegetables and suddenly the black heap jerked up and dashed towards them with great speed. The boys became frightened and ran away from the place. M. Who did the boys think chased them? Ansh. The boys thought that they were chased by the ghost. Q. 2. Here are some of the events that happened on the Uruka night, but they are not arranged in the proper order. Arrange the sentences in the proper sequence and then read the lesson to check your answer. A. Mahin saw something like a black heap of garbage in the middle of the garden. B. Shantiram ran towards the boys when the boys were about to pick the vegetables. C. Sanju, Antu, Rintu, Ruman, and Mahin planned an adventure on Uruka night. D. The boys ran frantically out of the garden, scared that the ghost was after them. E. Just past midnight, the fire boys headed towards Shantaram's vegetable garden. Ansh. 1. Sanju, Antu, Rinku, Ruman and Mohan planned an adventure on Uruka night. 2. Just past midnight, the 5 boys headed towards Shantaram's vegetable garden. 3. Mahin saw something like a black heap of garbage in the middle of the garden. 4. Shantiram ran towards the boys when the boys were about to pick the vegetables. 5. The boys ran frantically out of the garden, scared that the ghost was after them. Q. 3. Look at the words in the 2 boxes below. One contains the names and the other contains their descriptions. Match the words to their descriptions and write them in your notebooks. A. Uruka. I. The 4 friends of Mahindra. B. Shantiram. 2. A small pieces of owl. C. Sanju, Antu, Rinku and Rumon. 3. The leader of the adventure on Uruka night. D. Mahendra. 4. A retired army man who was interested in farming. E. The nightjar. V. A bamboo gate. F. Nongola. Y. The annual feast ahead of Magh Bihu. Ansh. A. Uruka. I. The annual feast ahead of Magh Bihu. B. Shantiram. 2. A retired army man who was interested in farming. C. Sanju, Antu, Rinku and Rumon. 3. The four friends of Mahindra. D. Mahendra. 4. The leader of the adventure on Uruka night. E. The nightjar. V. A small species of owl. F. Nongola. Y. A bamboo gate. Q. 4. Here are some words from the lesson. Match the words with their meaning to check your understanding. Propose unable to stay still, restless, a large or special meal, especially for a lot of people, custom to suggest a plan, an idea, etc. Feast done quickly and with a lot of activity, but in a way that is not very well organized, frantically an accepted way of behaving or of doing things in society. Ansh. Propose to suggest a plan, an idea, etc. Restless, unable to stay still, custom, an accepted way of behaving or of doing things in society. Feast, a large or special meal, especially for a lot of people, frantically done quickly and with a lot of activity, but in a way that is not very well organized. Q.5. Read the lesson once again and write in the box the name S of the person/people who said the lines given below. In which paragraph does each sentence occur? I. Oh, yes. It is our age-old custom. 2. We will spend the night in our bhela ghar. 2. What will we carry the vegetables in? 4. Never mind, we'll carry as much as possible in each hand. Ansh. I. Oh, yes. It is our age-old custom. Said Mahin. Para 3. 2. We will spend the night in our bhela ghar. Said Sanju. Para 2. 3. What will we carry the vegetables in? Said Mahin. Para 5. 4. Never mind, we'll carry as much as possible in each hand, said the friends of Mahin. Para 5. Q. 6. Let's learn some grammar. A. Read the following two sentences. I. We will spend the night in our bhela ghar. 2. We'll carry as much vegetables as possible. Note the following. I. We can write we will as well. We will wheel danda. 2. Wheel is a shorter form of we will. We will now rewrite the following sentences using the start form of will. I. Mahin said, we will make a bhela ghar. 2. They will spend the night in the bhela ghar. 3. Sanju thought, when everyone is asleep, I will pick vegetables. 4. Mohan said, we will help each other to cook the food. V. They will have an Uruka adventure. Ansh. I. Mahin said, we'll make a bhela ghar. 2. They'll spend the night in the bhela ghar. 3. Sanju thought, when everyone is asleep, I'll pick vegetables. 4. Mohan said, we'll help each other to cook the food. V. They'll have an Uruka adventure. B. Now read the following sentences. I. Will carry as much as possible in our hands. 2. I shall wait to see who comes to steal my vegetables. Note the following. We use words like will and shall to talk about something that is going to happen in the future. Will shall danda. C. Note the difference in meaning between the first two sentences and the third. I. We will spend the night in the bhela ghar. 2. We shall go and pick vegetables. 3. We spend the night in the bhela ghar. The first two sentences express future time and the third sentence expresses past time. D. Note the forms of negative sentences. I. We will not spend the night in the bhela ghar. Future time. 2. We did not spend the night in the bhela ghar. Past time. We use will not or won't for future time and did not or didn't for past time to express negative meaning. Now check your grammar. Rewrite these sentences by changing the underlined verbs to express future time. I. Mahin called his friends to his house. 2. Mahin jumped up in joy. 3. They decided to celebrate Uruka together. 4. They planned to hold the feast in Mahin's house. V. We went to pick vegetables from Shantiram's garden. Ansh. I. Mahin will call his friends to his house. 2. Mahen will jump up in joy. 3. They will decide to celebrate Uruka together. 4. They will plan to hold the feast in Mahen's house. We will go to pick vegetables from Shantiram's garden. Q. 7. Read the story and write down the words ending with li. 1 is done for you. A. Excitedly. B. C. D. Now look up the dictionary and write down the meanings of those words using the words. Use the words in sentences of your own. Ansh. Words meaning sentence. A. Excitedly having, showing, or characterized by a heightened state of energy, enthusiasm, eagerness etc. She ran excitedly down to greet her cousins. B. Lovingly in a way that shows a lot of love or care. We should always speak lovingly to our parents. C. Gleefully doing something in an extremely happy way. They probably gleefully grabbed the notice of holiday. D. Quietly without making much noise they entered the exam hall very quietly. Q. 8. A. Read the paragraph given below carefully. They describe what the friends did on Uruka night. All the words highlighted in bold refer to actions that took place in the past. Mahen and his friends decided to hold a feast together. They planned to hold the feast at Mahen's compound. Mahen and Sanju said that they would do the shopping for the feast at the nearby market. Mahen's friends Antu and Rinku suggested that they should cook for the feast themselves. Roman offered to cook the vegetables and the fish. Sanju and Antu said that they would cook the rice, the lentils and the chicken. The 5 friends proposed that they would spend the entire night at Mahen's compound. As planned earlier, the 5 boys built a big shed using straw and bamboo. Roman's uncle helped them with the task. The boys joyfully cooked for the feast with a little supervision and help from Mahen's mother. When the feast was over, Mahen commanded his friends to follow him on their nocturnal adventure. They made straight for Shantiram's house at the end of the lane. The 5 friends tiptoed into his garden after crossing the Nongola. Suddenly, they saw a black heap of garbage in the middle of the rows of vegetables. They thought it was inert and harmless. But when the boys stretched their hands to pick the vegetables, the cap suddenly moved. To their utter horror, they discovered it was none other than Shantaram himself, covered in a black blanket. Terrified, they fled from the scene. What a narrow escape they had. Now sit in groups. Then using verbs in similar forms. Tell the group how you celebrated one of your festivals this year. Did you have an adventure like Mahen or was it a rather ordinary experience for you? Remember to include the following points to describe your experience. How did you plan for the festival? With whom you celebrated it? What was prepared for the festival? What you ate and who did the cooking? What adventures have you had with friends? Ansh, my friends and I plan to celebrate the Bhogli Bihu together. We planned to hold a feast in the Chang Ghar which was near the rice fields. My friends, Renu, Deepika, Sonu, Ritu and Raz all decided that Raz and Sonu will go to the market to bring vegetables, eggs and fish. And Raz's brother will help Renu and Deepika in marketing. They will bring rice, meat, and juice. Also my brother helped us in decorating the Changhar. We all cooked the food while singing and dancing to the Bihu song. Renu and Deepika cooked rice and meat, and I with my friends cooked eggs, fish and mixed veg soup. And we all sit together and eat the food. After that the friends proposed that they would finish their feast early and go home. I commanded them to clean the Changhar first. Renu suggested that we not throw empty juice bottles here and there. While cleaning suddenly the wind blew heavily. We thought that it would rain tonight. Suddenly something in white color passes in the air very fast. My friends saw and we scared but later we saw that it was a cloth called dhoti which came because of the heavy air. B. Name a festival that all Indians celebrate in the month of January. Discuss with your partner and write a few lines on it. Ansh, the festival that all Indians celebrate in the month of January is the Republic Day celebrated on the 26th of January. This day symbolizes the unity in diversity of India and reflects the ideals of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. On this day in 1950, the constitution of our country was formally adopted and India became a fully sovereign state. Q. 9. Read the verbs in column A and write their past forms in column B, as shown in the example. Obey. Buy, bought. Catch. Teach. Bring. Fight. Ansh. AB buy, bought, catch, caught, teach, taught, bring, brought, fight for. Q. 10. What did you notice about the words in column B above? Notice that the GHT in all the past forms is pronounced as the GHT in all past forms is pronounced as the T is pronounced in caught. Bought, caught, taught, brought, fought. Can you think of more words ending with GHT? Work with a friend. Practice saying aloud the words you have listed. Ansh, 8, night, fight, light, and right. Q. 11. Look at the pictures in box A and read the dialogue in the bubble. Now choose the correct response from those in box B to fill up the bubble C. Class 7 English Chapter 2 Uruka. Ansh, see, don't worry. I'm okay. You carry on. I'll join you in a while. Now practice the dialogue with your partner. Q.12. Read the following words. Some of them are related to adventure. Find out the meanings of those words and make sentences with them. Plan, thrill, excitement, enjoyment, voice, feast, cooperation, custom, experiment, night. Ansh. Plan. The boys planned a trip to Guwahati. Cooperation. They do not cooperate with the teacher, that's why the teacher punishes them. Thrill. The boys were thrilled to see a ghost in the Uruka night. Custom. He wakes up early in the morning at 6 a.m., as is his custom. Excitement. His holiday excitement was clearly visible in his face. Experiment. Do not do any experiment with your hair. Enjoyment. Diwali is a festival of enjoyment. Night. Raju sleeps at 9 o'clock in the night. Feast. They arranged a feast for the party. Voice. Neeti's voice is very sweet. She sings very well. Q.13. Let's do. Magh Bihu is a festival which is linked to nature and its nurture. It is also a celebration of the northward movement of the sun called Uttarayan. Uttar means north and Ayana means movement. Bihu, Karbidel Lal Kachi Dom, Karam Pujaite are all festivals closely linked to nature. In groups, choose a festival like the above and make a poster on it. Remember to use pictures and interesting captions, heading, along with short descriptions of the food, dress, rituals etc. that are part of the festival. Ansh, students try to do it themselves with the help of the teacher.